Friends, we have assembled here for the 6th talk in the series, Wisdom for Living. As you all might be aware, this series was conceptualized by our international president, Mr. Tim Boyd, who believes that spirituality cannot be compartmentalized, but needs to be interwoven and integrated with daily living. And to carry this idea forward, we have these lecture series where speakers from different spheres of human activity are invited to share with us their experience about the ways in which they have been able to apply spiritual principles to their work and living. For the benefit of those among the audience who are visiting the campus of the Theosophical Society for the first time, I would like to give a brief introduction to Theosophy, a very brief introduction to Theosophy and the work of the Theosophical Society. Theosophy means divine wisdom. It is the eternal or ageless wisdom which has always existed and which will always continue to exist. It is the underlying root of all religions that have been transmitted over the ages to humanity in the form and manner most suited to the conditions prevailing at that time. The Theosophical Society was founded in New York in 1875, and the principal founders were Henry Steele Olcott, a retired colonel in the American Army. He was many other things as well. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, a Russian noblewoman with extraordinary occult powers. It has often been said that while Madame Blavatsky gave the world the wisdom teachings known as Theosophy, Colonel Olcott provided the organization necessary for its transmission to the world. The founders first visited Madras in 1882, and while they were here, they were taken to see a property at Adyar, then known as Huddleston Gardens. This property appealed to the founders, not only because it was beautiful, they had seen many scenic places earlier, but because they intuitively realized that there was great magnetism and atmosphere in the place which made it suitable to receive the influence of the great ones who were behind the work of the society. Adyar, the campus where we are meeting today, thus became the international spiritual headquarters of the Theosophical Society. On behalf of the TS, I am happy to welcome our speaker today, Mr. G.Reguraman, a holistic wellness consultant currently based in Chennai. Mr. Reguraman completed his bachelor's in engineering from Guindy College of Engineering in 1994 and went on to do his MBA in systems and marketing from the Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore in 1997. Over the years, Mr. Reguraman has worked for many IT MNCs in India and abroad. But, and it is here that it gets to be interesting, since 2015, he has taken a different path and become a holistic wellness coach. He says that while he was practicing heartfulness meditation, he became a vegetarian. And now he's a vegan as well since 2011. After turning vegan, Mr. Reguraman learned a lot about plant-based nutrition to keep himself and his family healthy. He is currently fully involved in promoting preventive health care through holistic wellness, improving body, mind, and soul through his organization, Holistic Wellness Experience Center, located in Porur, Chennai. Mr. Reguraman's talk will, I'm sure, not only be extremely interesting, but also very useful to all of us.
We welcome all of you on behalf of the Theosophical Society again. And we'll just start the presentation, today's presentation. Yeah, it's about the importance of balancing our body, mind, and soul on a daily basis. It's not just the body, not just the mind, not just about the soul aspect of it, but on all three dimensions on a regular basis, not occasionally, you know. Yeah, that's what we are going to see. So we could clearly make out both of them are 80 plus, and what they have invested on a daily basis has resulted in what they are looking not just inside but also outside. Yeah. So we primarily will see what kind of different diseases right now we all have right. The first thing is the congenital, which is the birth defects. Somebody born blind or a deaf or some chromosome related problem, and several kind of birth defects, right? Some they could be a transplant and they could be addressed. Some they have to live with the problem the rest of their life. And the second is the contagious diseases, right? All this malaria, COVID, we all know how life was from 2020 to 22, right? I do not have to talk more about it. And third is the nutritional deficiency disease. It could be the, calcium deficiency or iron deficiency or, several, macro, micro nutrition deficiencies. And the fourth is the lifestyle and non-communicable diseases. It's actually heart disease, diabetes, lung diseases and all that. In fact, today in the world, 70% of deaths are happening because of these lifestyle diseases. Roughly about 140 million babies are born in a year, and about close to 60 million deaths happen in a year, right? Of the 60 million deaths, roughly 70% is 42 million deaths happening in a year. If I break it down by month, 3.5 million, deaths happen in a month just because of these four lifestyle diseases: heart disease, lung disease, diabetes and cancer, which are completely preventable and reversible actually. Reversible if it was diagnosed a little early on, correct? And then the last thing is the geriatric diseases, primarily the old age related, all the dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, etc., etc. CKD stands for chronic kidney disease. All these dialysis, people going for dialysis and kidney related. Many times, all these, when people start aggressively treating these lifestyle diseases, heart disease, diabetes, etc., chronic for some time, that actually leads to damaging their kidney. They invariably, many times, 9 out of 10 times, they damage their kidney. All this kidney function gets deteriorated. And, sometimes, there could be some medicine and, because the interesting part is, unlike other organs, like a liver or lung, etc., when they start degenerating, if you switch back to a healthy lifestyle, they all start regenerating. Whereas kidney does not regenerate. It only goes down the path, right? Even if somebody was found and he decides to revive his life or get into a better healthy lifestyle at a very last stage, there is no possibility of unlike other organs, right? He get into the dialysis and other treatment lifelong. So chronic kidney diseases, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So what is holistic wellness? There are about 8 dimensions, right? It's primarily if I put it, it's a physical, then the emotional, mental, then spiritual, then the occupational or a financial related, then comes the intellectual and environmental. These are the various, components of health, right? If we really look at this, I have split into inner wellness and outer wellness. Some of these, out of these 8, some of them are into inner wellness, spiritual, emotional, it's all individual based, right? Whereas the outer wellness is the other aspects. If you realize, during COVID times, however healthy somebody is, right? If the environment was not healthy, he's usually unproductive. He cannot really, we all witnessed it, right? We all witnessed that situation. Just because, a major part of the world was sick, even the healthy people cannot go out. Everything was shut down, right? So it's very important that, we realize that, this is a game, we all have to play it together. It's not enough only a small segment of people alone or super healthy. If the rest of the people are not healthy, we will be paying for it, right? Because the world is operated by not just few people, but the entire people. So it's very important. That's why I mentioned the inner wellness, outer wellness matters. One without the other causes imbalance, right? Yeah. And so what I have understood is, because in my life, like ma'am was telling, I started my heartfulness, it used to be called a Sahajmar practice way back in 97. I started practicing this meditation. And that helped me understand that, life is going to be with a lot of ups and downs, right? And it's very important that, I kind of encapsulate or, give myself, the spiritual self, as some kind of, what I call, because all these vehicles, there's a shock absorber, right? If it goes on a bumpy road, it's a shock absorber that actually, handles that, vibration or, imbalance and make sure the passengers are not hit badly. So we all need to have some kind of a, kind of a shock absorber. That way, all this emotional, because life is not always going to be a bed of roses, There's going to be a challenges at the all aspect of life, right? So spiritual dimension gave me that kind of, encapsulation or a kind of, shock absorber for that. Then, in 2016, 15, after I became a vegan, my return from US, my son had eczema. So to treat eczema, a friend of mine recommended certain aloe vera products. Because we saw several dermatologists, it was not healing. So we applied those aloe vera products, and some are external, some are internal, and he got healed within 3 weeks. That's when I understood the power of aloe vera, right? Because I understood the digestion is the root cause of all health issues, indigestion. Once you fix the digestion related things, once you make sure the body is allowed to function normally, because body heals itself naturally. Only thing is we put a lot of blocks in the form of wrong treatment or chemical based food, pesticide based food, all those kind of things are blocking the digestion process because a lot of health issue immunity. Right? Then 2018 I bumped into a kind of a water that I will speak up more about it. And because water is primarily the carrier of, because 90% of the blood is water. And water is a carrier of the nutrition and the oxygen. Because we have got about 120 trillion cells. And each of the cells require only two things. One is the energy that's supplied by the nutrition, and second aspect is the oxygen. So who is transporting? Imagine, all the food, everything is coming to the wholesale market. Let's say Coimbatore, right? Coimbatore, everything is coming. Assume that, the food is left there. Nobody is transporting to over 100 or 120, pin codes around Chennai. Somebody is transporting, right? So the idea for bringing the food is not to leave at Coimbatore, but to reach all these households. It has to reach the, whatever. We got Chennai probably 1.5 crore, population. Perhaps there could be 10 lakh homes, perhaps, right? And, if divided by 4, you will have 50 or whatever, right? So that many homes it should reach. That similarly, all these 120 trillion cells, these cells cannot come to the stomach and get the nutrition. They all stay where they are, right? They needs to be supplied with the oxygen and whatever is the toxics, created by the metabolism process, they need to be flushed out. So the water is the one that's transporting all the nutrition and oxygen, and from the intracellular spaces, all the toxins are there, water is flushing it back. So that's the power. So in 2020, because some of the people whom I started working on, even though I have a lot of success stories about how people got healed from eczema, psoriasis, PCOD, diabetes and cancer and so on, there were a lot of people who are not getting any much results. Right? Again, the problem is recurring and all that. That's when I understood it's not enough we treat somebody only on the physical dimension. Because the body is not just, if you go by the Vedic science, it says, panchakoshas, right? We have a, kind of, Annamaya kosha and Jnanamaya kosha, and all these 5 layers are there. So we need to treat the entire body, and that's when I realized there's a spiritual body, there's emotional, mental and physical. And this is the split up. The imbalance due to spiritual is about 50%, right? Because spiritual things means various things to various people. Some, it could be a karmic, right? lot of them it's a karmic, or some it's like no, they are not aligning with their own inner self properly and all that stuff. The emotion we all can understand. It could be our anger, then joy, then all these worries and fear and so on, right? So we must be able to manage our own emotions. The third aspect is the mental well-being, right? So mental health, we all know about it, right? There's a lot of article written about it, and they're asking people to be vocal about it and take treatment, right? It's a mental. There's no point in feeling any social stigma out of it, right? If I'm having a cold or I'm having a fever, I'm going to take treatment. So is the depression or any kind of uneasiness, with my mental well-being, right? Detect it early on, and then take treatment, right? And then the physical is only 10%. Whatever imbalances we are not handling in the upper, in those pyramid, right? It all shows up in the form of a disease. For example, I was actually, it's a WhatsApp post. It doesn't say, I don't know whether it has got any scientific, basis or anything, because we all know what is called, the mental disease causing a physical problem, right? Psychosomatic, exactly, right? So there are a lot of such things are there, right? It is the, for example, there are a lot of interesting articles about the gut being the second brain. There are a lot of nerve connection between the brain and the, our gut. So if the gut is not kept well, it affects the brain health and vice versa, right? It all happens that way. So that is how I evolved this whole concept of holistic wellness, where I realized it's not enough people, focus on the physical part alone and address the physical aspect of health with the diet and organic food and seasonal food and, heating the water and, fitness and these alone. There are much more larger things, big blocks, right? The big rocks to be addressed. Yeah, we'll see one after the other. Yeah. So this is the whole my concept of health is a summary of what you breathe, what you think, what you drink, what you eat, and most importantly, what you eliminate. This is mainly about detoxing, and this is what I was talking about. So the spiritual well-being, I practice this heartfulness meditation, and I found it, very effective and powerful, because meditation. Any of you do meditation here? Okay, very nice, right? So the science of meditation, right? How it affects your, brains, your physiology, psychology, sociology, and all these things. It's all well documented. In fact, back in school days, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, that group is what actually taught me meditation when I was in 7th standard. Then I bumped into the same organization when I was in the college for 3rd year in 93. That's when I understood they have done a lot of scientific research. Because Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, they have a university in Switzerland, and they have done a lot of studies with people controlled controlled groups, right? Some 3,000 people gathered in a place. Prior to that, they collected all the data like the crime, the social crime, and health, and various other aspects. They collected the data. Then a group of 3,000 people meditating for about 6 months. Then they collected the data. They found a drastic improvement. Right, so it's likewise our team also heartfulness meditation. We also do a lot of scientific research, and we publish a lot of materials out of that. And we practice something. Our unique thing about our system of meditation, we use something called pranahuti aided meditation. Prana means life, and ahuti means pouring. So with this technique of pranahuti, the guru or the teacher or the guide is able to transmit his spiritual energy into the aspirant. So it's like when you do, see, my layman understanding of meditation is, and meditation versus guided meditation or a pranahuti guided meditation is you sitting under a warm room and sitting under a room with a AC or a fan. You get some additional, support to go to sleep or take rest. Right? That's how the pranahuti aided meditation helps. So I urge all of you to practice it, because this is not something you can understand with your intellect. You need to really put yourself, and practice it, right? And the second aspect is the cleaning. The cleaning is primarily what happens. See, all of us, understand the physical part of cleaning, right? After a long day, if you happen to travel on a road, you feel very tired and dusty and all that, you bathe yourself and get rid of yourself, physical cleaning you do. And same wise, the spiritual cleaning, it's like, all through the day, it's like a me, I, me, and myself, right? Lot of things are subjecting to ourselves. I am talking to somebody, somebody is talking to me nicely or badly. So all this impression, gets registered into my spiritual system. It's like a log file. So what happens if you have a computer and you have a, the log file or a cache is not cleaned after some time, the computer slows down. Same thing happens with our own system also, right? So we use, because there is something, the willpower is something unique to humans. I understood it's the intellect and the willpower are very, very unique to humans. Even though we know, I have seen even crows are able to use some, limited intellect and do a lot of things, right? So basically, we use, for this cleaning process, we use our, willpower and push out the impressions we formed on a daily basis and fill that energy with the divine energy. And that's how we do it. So the relationship between meditation and cleaning is, it's like a, the cleaning, meditation without cleaning is like, if our experts used to say, it's like if a thief is practicing a meditation without cleaning, he'll become a perfect thief. You're sharpening your, faculties with the help of meditation. So cleaning is very important. The process of cleaning is very important, yeah. So the what our Guruji has taught us is, God has given himself and hidden himself inside your hearts and exposed you. Hide yourself and expose God. That's what we need to do. So meditation, what happens is a very passive process. It's actively remaining passive. Meditation is not sleeping, right? You sit and close your eyes, and then you're not sleeping, right? You are subconsciously, you are actually awake, but you will forget the body consciousness. That's what happens. And so the process of cleaning is a process where we direct our thought in combination with our will to clean away the impression, so the light of the soul can shine. So that's what we do under the spiritual well-being. And the emotional well-being, I'm sure a lot of you would have bumped into this quote, right? So life is a comedy for those who think and tragedy for those who feel. But unfortunately, it is not so easy to be in a thinking state all the time. We get into the feeling state also, right? And but still, we need to develop that ability to stay in a emotionally intelligent or state, right? Yeah. I'm sure this is something audience will have a lot of information about it, so I will not spend too much time here. And the mental well-being, again, this is it's a kind of a huge concern, right? Yesterday I read a news item. It says a homeopathy doctor committed suicide with his daughter. I don't know the details, And every time when the exams results are published, right, there'll be a lot of news about suicide. And many times, if you look at it, the suicides are not done by any beggars or anybody. Most of the times the suicides are done by people who have excellent track record beforehand. Somebody who expected 99% got only 95%. They feel depressed. They lost 3%, and they go to end their life. Right? It happens to a lot of corporates also. There are a lot of big names who ended their life, right? And so it's a very, very interesting thing. Why is it instant something happens, or it's a prolonged thing? And so this is an area where it's very important that people need to pay attention. In US, for example, I think we almost read, right, that's a shooting in schools and various other public places, right? So this mental issue is a continuous concern all around the world, right? Yeah. And here what I found is, in fact, I went ahead and did a kind of a short course about sound healing. So primarily, I think all of you will know sound, the importance of sound in our own homes. If there is a kind of a puja room, they do the ringing the bell, and the temple they have the huge bells and all that. And Tibetan monks, they actually have mastered this, sound, producing the sound with the Tibetan what they call singing bowls, right? And because what happens is, our brain, we have this, state where it moves from alpha to beta, then theta state. Because when we go to what we call a deep sleep, right? The rapid eye movement, right? REM state. That's when we get the deep sleep, right? And that's very much required for the inner healing. But unfortunately, a lot of people have a struggle, to go into the sleep, right? For that, they, take a lot of intervention. Some people go for some kind of, sedatives or sleeping pills and, a lot of other, ways, which has got a lot of side effects, nervous problem. And sound healing with the taping the, bowl, it produces a frequency of sound because all our organs in the body, they vibrate at certain frequency. Right? So what happens is when we are healthy, it vibrates at a certain healthy frequency. When we are unhealthy, they all vibrate in unhealthy frequency. Right? So with the help of these, singing bowls, when the sound produced by it, that sound is able to go into the body, and inside the body, 70% of the body is water. So there's a ripple effect happens. The sound, kind of transmits through these organs, and it's able to heal. So especially people who have a severe anxiety and sleep-related disorders, this particular sound healing is found to help them. I have a lot of testimonials, where people have got relief over a period of time. Because see, other techniques like a meditation, all those are slightly time-consuming. For example, all these athletes, right? All these athletes and all these, celebrities and all those people, they have a very crash period. They will have, for example, right now T20 is happening, right? So we know how much of stress all these, sports people go through, right? In 2 months period, they have to prove themselves. They are under a lot of stress. So once that event happens, or after the incident happens, right, they will have a lot of sleepless nights because the whole system got damaged because of the stress and anxiety and all that stuff. So for that, sound healing helps a lot. Yeah. So it helps in all three dimensions, the emotional side, physical side, mental side. In fact, I saw a photograph where a doctor, you see, even though, we in India, it was supposed to be, we originated it and Tibetan monks picked it up. Right now in the Western world, especially doctors in Germany and in US and all, there are a lot of specialists who are offering this kind of a sound healing to their patients. I saw a photograph in which a doctor with a, doctor's coat and a stethoscope, carrying the, singing bowl. And I saw another photograph where a technician, there's a nearby, there is a lady, she's on the bed with probably she's on life support, with a lot of probably a coma or some kind of illness situation. And this technician is using sound healing. Because at that point, nothing else responds. The body cannot be intervened through any other ways because pharma and other kind of drugs only cause side effects. So the sound healing is found to, give a lot of relief. So the Western world, there is more advancement happening, than in the Eastern world, though it's originated here. Yeah. So few of us actually, we have joined with another NGO, and what we offered is we visited some of the schools where the students having challenge with the attention deficit, right? Such students, it helps a lot. People with the ADHD, attention deficit, that kind of a syndromes. Because what happens is, those children, if they straight away going to talk to them like a normal children, they won't be able to, because they cannot even sit quietly, right? Leave alone paying attention to them, right? So for them, if they do some session of 5 or 10 minutes of the sound healing, it actually helps them focus, develop the focus. Then they can attend the normal classes. So it's a very therapeutic as well as relaxing for the general people. Yeah. So coming to physical well-being, this is more about sleep than the nutrition. So basically our body, over 70% of the body is water. 90% of blood is water. 83% of the brain is water. Bone, every damn thing in the body is water. Majority of their content is water, right? And I'll quickly show you a brief demo how your water should be, what kind of water we are drinking today, and what kind of water is ideally for the body, right? And here one quick, kind of, tip is, we normally tend to, I really do not know how many of us are, taking enough time to eat our food, irrespective of the kind of food we eat, right? Most of the times people tend to eat very fast. So what is recommended is, drink your food, because all our teeth are in the mouth, they are not in the stomach. So we have to literally take the time to chew the food properly and drink the food and bite the water. Don't just, do a gallop, right? Just put it in the mouth, taste it, and almost bite the water, before we actually, swallow the water. That's very important. In fact, for especially something like a diabetes, this is very, very, very important. One of the reasons people get diabetes is mainly because, besides the quality of food and timing of the food, etc., the way they are eating food is totally wrong. Yeah. So what I'm going to do right now is, going to show you a demo to help you understand, because while along with it, I'll also explain. Yeah. So here I brought some, different types of water. Okay. Yeah. I'll just, I hope all of you would be able to see this. And this is a very, this is the company that actually packaged the water, first, right? And we will, they produce the clean water, This is again a, kind of a carbonated drink. And all these Pepsi or a Coke or any kind of carbonated drink, they all fall in the same category. And can I get some, the water you have, local water? Yeah. Yeah, some water. RO water or, Here you have the RO water, right? Some, See, a lot of us, think that, water needs to be clean. It's very important. It needs to be, free from bacteria. So we think that alone is sufficient, but it is not. There are a few more things we need to. Yeah, thank you, yeah. There are a few more things we need to, pay attention to. So the first and the foremost thing is actually, I'll just quickly take my few things. Yeah. Yeah, I'll pick it up from here. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm audible enough, right? Yeah, turn off the mic for a moment. So what I'm going to, do is pour these different kinds of water here. So first and foremost thing is, see, all of these water are clean water. They don't have bacteria. That's the one commonality, you have for all these waters. Okay. And I'm going to, this equipment is called TDS meter. It stands for total dissolved solids, right? It measures the amount of calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium in the water. So we all at home, we have a thermometer, right? So I urge all of you to have a, small device like, it costs about 800 rupees or so. It gives you an indication about how much of calcium. So according to World Health Organization, you need to drink water roughly about 500 ppm. ppm stands for particle per million. But what we're drinking today in the world, the conventional world, normal world, across the world is about 30 to 35. That is the TDS we are drinking. That's way below the limit. Right? So I'm going to just see how much is the. Are you able to see this? Anybody?
Yeah.
How much do you
79.
see? 79.
Yeah.
75.
Yeah, 79. Yeah, 79. Right. And here, this is the RO water from the campus. It's about, are you able to see this?
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15. 15.
Right.
Correct, yeah. So normally it's between 15 to 35. That's what we see across. I'll show the what is the water that I brought from this Kangen water machine. Okay. And the second aspect is the I'll pour some more Sprite here. The second aspect is the what we saw is the TDS. The second aspect is the most important thing is the, how much of, see what that's saying, I introduced a term called oxidation. What is oxidation? Oxidation means whenever, we all have seen that when we cut and keep the apple open, what happens? It turns brown because apple contains iron and the atmosphere, air contains oxygen. When the iron and the oxygen mixes, what happens? Rusting, oxidation, right? That's what happens. When something gets oxidized, what will happen in the body is free radical damage. It's like a chain reaction. Just to, a layman understanding of this is, assume you have a tomato, it's a rotten tomato. If you keep it in a basket or some, a vessel, like closed vessel like this, what happens next day morning? All the tomato gets spoiled. That's what happens to a body. So when I drink oxidized food or oxidized water, right, what happens? My whole body degenerates. It's not just the damage stays in only one part. It's like a rust, right? When rusting happens at one corner of the iron metal, it spreads. The same thing happens to our body. When the rusting or degeneration or free radical damage happens, that's when the aging happens. The entire body starts aging, right? That's what happens. So I'm going to show, this is actually a device called ORP meter. ORP meter. The ORP meter stands for oxidation reduction potential, or the ability of the water to withstand oxidation. It's like a paint, right? Let's assume you bought the ordinary quality paint, which is able to only keep the gate free from rust for 6 months. But if you have a very extremely industrial quality or a great best paint, it might keep the gate from rusting for 2 years, for example. So that is, it's the ORP that gives the ability to withstand oxidation, right? So we are now going to see, what is the oxidation of all these things. Okay, so it's like it's in millivolt. It's in millivolt, and are you able to? This is millivolt. Can you read this, ma'am? Yeah. 202 or around that range, right? Yeah. And what about this? It's again 170. It's all positive millivolt. And this one 155. So let me actually pour some water which I freshly collected from this device, water ionizer, and show you. I can actually keep it. How much do you see?
Minus 440.
Yeah.
450.
It's a millivolt.
Yeah.
For example, what they say, the fresh green tea, it's about minus 125 millivolt. The fresh green tea. So this is what indicates the antioxidant property. Because water, as we all know, it has got an electric charge. But the only difference between these water and this water is these waters have positively charged ions. Whereas this water has got a negatively charged ion. That is what makes it antioxidant. Because our body, cellular, we have got 120 trillion cells. And the cellular voltage of our body, each of these cells is minus 90 millivolt. When somebody is not well, it reduces to minus 30 millivolt. That's why, as I was mentioning, when you go to hospital, when someone is not well, we take with us some satagudi or some fruits and all that, fresh fruits and all that. What do we carry? Because they contain antioxidants. Besides the vitamins and other nutrition, they contain antioxidants. So you are actually literally carrying a battery with you. Because the person has been having a lower charge, we are actually taking some energy to him. That's what we are literally doing. And we all hear about, and heart cells have got a, have you ever heard about heart cancer? We might have heard about liver, lung, breast, and a lot of other organ cancer. Have you ever heard about heart cancer? The rarest of the rare, we never hear of. Because heart cells have a cellular voltage of minus 125 millivolt. That's why one of the reasons why heart is able to withstand the cancer formation, etc. Right? So it is the antioxidant that we are talking about. And the next test I am going to show you is the the acidic alkaline, right? For example, this is a pH tester. We all in school days we have seen a litmus test, right? We have seen the 1 to 7 is acidic and 7 to 14 is alkaline and all that. So you all can see what kind of a color, this turns to. Just going to stir it. So these orange is actually, it's about roughly 2.8. It's roughly about 2.8. So for example, if you remember that spectrum 1 to 7 is acidic, right? When something is at 2, so 7 is the base and 6 is the acidic, 10 times acidic. 5, if it is a 5, then it's actually 100 times acidic. It exponentially goes up. If something is a 2, it's roughly about 50,000 to 1 million times acidic. If somebody drinks this, with the Pepsi, with the pizza and all these people who do party, when they do all that, they roughly need about close to 30, they need to drink about 32 cups of normal water, base 7 pH water to neutralize this effect. It takes about close to 90 hours for the body to neutralize this, right? And this is about roughly about 4 pH, which is again acidic. This is also again falling in the same category, 4 to 5 or 4 category. This is about 9.5 pH. So what actually happens is, what I want all of you to understand is, the difference between food and water is, food needs digestion before it can go into the bloodstream. But for water, there is no digestion. The moment you drink to the esophagus, it can get into your body, right? There's no. But only thing is the body does a test, right? pH test. If it is a alkaline pH, it accepts the water. If it is any of these acidic pH, the body stops it, leaches the calcium, magnesium, potassium, so the sodium for the body, convert this acidic pH to alkaline pH. So that is why the last 30 years you will find a lot of incidences of arthritis, bone related issues, muscle related issues, and all these things, because we are drinking low TDS water, high acidic pH water, and of course not antioxidant, right? They are oxidized water. Because of all these combination of unhealthy water, our body takes a heavy toll. Name any disease, it's actually, that is why major reasons for degenerative disease, including cancer, rapid aging, happens because of the acidic waste in the body. Because what happens is, when we get stressed, all these emotional disturbances happening in the body, they actually create a lot of acidic stress in the body, right? So what happens is, for the oxygen it is the blood that is transporting oxygen, right? So the blood needs to be in alkaline pH, 7.35 to 7.46, the blood, healthy blood. So when the blood is not able to keep an acidic pH, alkaline pH, blood becomes acidic, it cannot transport oxygen. So if the oxygen is not going through the blood and helping the cells stay healthy, that's when all the diseases start. You name any disease all the way up to cancer, it's because of oxygen not properly going in the blood, because blood is now very unhealthy. And 90% of blood is water. So your water is unhealthy. So the way to address is, fix your water in terms of your TDS, fix it, alkaline pH, then antioxidant and all that.
How is the TDS for this one?
This is roughly about, I think I maintain it about close to 250 or something. Do you see that? Yeah. 174. 174. Yeah. Because for this device, we ask people to keep between 100 to 150. 100 to 150 particles per million. Yes, ma'am.
There is another kind of water in the market called alkaline water. It works black in color.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
See, I don't have much information about that. See, only thing I know is, there are two ways in which you can alkalizing the water. One is through the chemical process. So add sodium carbonate or some kind of a chemical, and through chemically you can alkalizing the water. This machine, what we are actually introducing or recommending is a water ionizer, which has got 7 titanium plates inside. So you send 100 to 150 water with the minerals, optimum minerals. It goes into the electrolysis process, and the ionization happens. The H2O gets split into hydrogen ion and hydroxide ion, H plus and OH minus.
The hydroxide ion is what increasing the pH, electrolysis, right? And the hydrogen ion is what is actually putting the antioxidants. Right now in Japan and other in a developed world, they are not talking about alkaline water, they are talking hydrogen water. The reason why the antioxidant what we are talking about is what they refer as hydrogen water. You know, because those people are more interested because they have certain health. You know, what they want is longevity, and they also want to slow down the aging process. So the best way to slow down your aging process and delay the diseases is to take a lot of antioxidant rich water, not just alkaline water. What commercially we hear around is alkaline. That is not sufficient. First of all, it needs to be a healthy way of alkalizing. Second is you need a lot of antioxidants through water, because what happens, there are 4 aspects that actually produce this oxidation or a free radical damage. The first is, I told you, oxidized food and water. The second is actually the chemicals in food, air and water. Yeah. So the second aspect is the chemicals in food, air and water. All these pesticides, chemical fertilizers, and all this adulteration and all those things in the food that actually cause free radical damage.
And third aspect is this little device, right? The electromagnetic radiation that actually causes the free radical damage, right? That's why when people keep it in the cell phone and talk, and if you take a thermal image, it actually, a lot of cells get damaged. So prolonged use of these, electromagnetic devices, all these phones, etc., they actually cause this, this particular problem. But I understand today's world, this is a necessary evil, right? Because when we all go to bed, we turn off the phone or keep it in the living room or whatever. But can we do the same thing in the office, where you are going to be with 100 or 50 or 100 people in a kind of a glass chamber, or some people are carrying 2 devices, a lot of magnetic. So for such instances, this water helps a lot, because your body is constantly getting subjected to free radical damage. Only thing is, by drinking the water, you're actually at least slowing down this free radical damage, or you are actually responding to the free radical. And fourth is actually the emotional disturbances, right? All the stress and anxiety and fear and all the stress related things, they actually cause huge free radical damage. For example, if you remember the COVID, wave 2 or wave 3, where a lot of rise in deaths, mainly because of the fear factor. Everybody thought my resident above passed away, same age group, left persons are passed away, right also passed away, I'm also going to be, they got admitted. Because of the stress and the fear and all that, your breathing gets affected. Once your breathing gets affected, you are actually, what to say, you are actually, buying the disease. If you're you are actually, paying money and buying the disease, when the breathing gets affected. So for all that, for us to, I understand, because I have my father at 86 now, right? I understand how he was. When he was young, he was very enterprising, very active, etc., etc. Now I know how he is, right? So at certain age, it's not, we won't be able to counsel them. We won't be able to go and tell them, don't be afraid. All those things won't work, right? Only thing is, because of all their fear and anxiety, the body is getting affected. The free radical damage is happening. All their organs are getting affected. Only thing we can help is give them a water like this. At least the damage you are actually, reducing in a healthy way, right? It's not a medicine. Yeah. So primarily the acidic waste in the body, oxidation, free radical. And third is the dehydration. I will spend a few minutes. See, primarily there are 2 categories of people, right? One category is drinking a lot of water. Another category is not drinking at all. The first category, which is drinking a lot of water, even those people are susceptible or prone to these health issues, because the water they're drinking is not a healthy water, first of all. Second aspect, the cluster size of water. The normal water will have a cluster size of each. If you put water in a microscope, it will actually it will show like a bunch of grapes, right? One bunch will have probably 24 water molecules, the normal water. and that's too big to go into the body actually. So they are drinking the water, but cells are not able to absorb them because they're too big for the cells, because they are all their body, they are all nano-sized or very, very too small, right? So this water is not able to go into it. You're drinking it, but not able to go into it because they are too big, right? And when you boil the water, the cluster size reduces to roughly about 10 to 15 molecules. With this water, it actually becomes like a 3 to 4 water molecules per cluster. That's why we call it as, I think the next slide, this is primarily information about, a paper information came, reverse osmosis water filter, unhealthy, according to World Health Organization. They recommend only if it is above 500 ppm, they ask you to go for a, RO filtration. If it is less than 500, you don't need to do RO, just do the purification alone, right? Yeah. And so this actually the microclustering, right? So this microclustered water helps you to address this dehydration. Because like I said, there are people who are drinking water, in spite of drinking water, they have these health issues. Because the cluster size is too big. That's a issue with that. Yeah. So this is how the device looks like. It's fully made in Japan. It's invented in 1974. Yeah. So it actually has got a, because since Japanese invented this mainly for the hospitals, it comes to the medical grade ISO 13485. And these are there are about 5 different variants, we have. Yeah. And there are a lot of reviews about it, doctors, scientists. In fact, I just brought that, a manual about, there are a lot of doctors and scientists and nutritionists have reviewed this and given their independent, reviews here. And it's being used in hospitals. I saw a video where Tata, Memorial Cancer Hospital is using it in Mumbai. So there is a business group, alliance group. They actually, in Pune, they're actually, I think it's in Surat. They actually, for the entire, town, they are actually doing this distribution of this water. Yeah, 1 minute. And so this way, now only the people are getting to know about it. A lot of large communities, they are now embracing this water. And this is actually a newspaper advertisement about Godrej Aqua Properties in Bangalore. They actually, releases advertisement where one of the 4, it's a very small here. One of the 4 project highlights is about introducing this Kangen water, for the individuals who are buying the flats. And this is a video I found at Tata Memorial Cancer Hospital. They have installed this Kangen water analyzer for the public. When they get into the hospital, they can drink this water. They are also giving it to the patients. Yeah. So now, we'll speak more about the food now here. It's recommended to eat organic food, whole food, and plant-based food without dairy and meat, and vitamin D and vitamin B12. See, I would like to spend 1 or 2 minutes on the dairy aspect, right? So dairy, because there are a lot of kind of a debate among the vegetarians especially, whether, dairy is okay or not okay, whether it's a vegetarian. Even Gandhiji had this kind of a dilemma, whether to have it or not have it and all that stuff. So technically what happens is dairy contains something called casein protein. That when it goes into the body becomes casomorphin. And morphine is a drug. And our brain, our brain is what is controlling our entire body, right? And our cravings, everything comes from the brain. And there are 2 things the brain likes. One is the sugar, other one is the, drug, any drug for that matter. And since this casein protein becomes casomorphin, our brain likes it. So that's why if you ask someone to abstain from carrot or a brinjal or a tomato for 1 week, they'll be perfectly okay. But if you ask them to abstain from dairy, they'll refuse. Because the brain demands it so much. Because they are actually addicted to it. Sorry to say, it's almost like how alcoholics behave, right? How alcoholic crave for alcohol. Same thing happens with the dairy also because of this casein protein becoming casomorphin. And the second aspect is to digest dairy or any milk, you need actually lactose. Lactose is an enzyme we all will have when we are young, when we are feeding on the mother's milk, etc. After some time we grow up and there won't be much lactose in the body. At that time when somebody continues to take dairy milk, that's when, I think a lot of you would have heard the term lactose intolerant. There are people who don't have any lactose at all. Even any form of milk or milk solids in biscuits and other, cookies, etc., it becomes fatal for them. They immediately develop a lot of allergies and they need to be rushed to the emergency, right? But some of us, what happens is we also have the deficiency, but when we continue to take the dairy products, what happens, it shows them in the form of a lot of other health issues like a migraine and a lot of health issues like autoimmune disease and PCOD for women and a lot of other things, right? What happens is since we don't understand this connectivity, we start treating those diseases separately without really addressing the root cause. The root cause is actually dairy. There are a lot of studies around that. And vitamin D and vitamin B12. In fact, a friend of mine, on my suggestion, he turned a vegan. He was overweight. He spent on his, a lot of fitness. He also moved thoroughly to organic food, whole food, and etc. etc. He sent me his blood test report. I saw the vitamin D, 30 is normal. 30, he's having about close to 9. His vitamin D3 level is 9. And for the B12, it is only about the 240 and above is normal, right? He was having about 161. So what happens is vitamin D3 is primarily a sunshine vitamin, right? But unfortunately, what happens is we don't expose ourselves a lot in sun. That's one aspect. Second is a lot of pollution, smog, etc. Even somebody is exposed on sun, in the body does not absorb so much. And the third issue is the low TDS water. When somebody is drinking a lot of low TDS water like a 16 or 15 or 20, 30, whatever vitamin D that the body produced, it gets leached. These are the connectivity. So when the vitamin D3 levels are low, that's when the calcium and iron absorption will not happen. Even if somebody taking a lot of calcium and iron, the absorption will not happen because vitamin D3 levels are low, right? And vitamin B12, this is again a vitamin that's very important. And we need to have sufficient levels of this vitamin B12. Only then the blood, it's created in the body. And also the neurology health and brain health, everything depends on this vitamin B12. Especially all our geriatric issues. Somebody complaining about, brain related neuro disorder or all these Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and dementia, all have a connectivity with vitamin B12. And of course, these seniors, not only just the vitamin, they also need to, exercise. And because what I read is, after we cross 50, we start losing our muscle a lot unless we work on it in the form of mild weightlifting or, it's not enough just somebody does only walking alone. He needs to do some kind of, cardio, respiratory related, some kind of a fitness related things they need to do, just to, support this neuromuscular function of the body. Yeah. Because it's like you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't use your muscles, you lose it. That's when, because my father, he's right now having a mild Parkinson's. And he doesn't listen to me at all, by the way, right? And he tells me, if you're a doctor, I will listen. You're not a doctor. So at his age, I won't be able to, kind of a debate with him. I always tell him, if you're driving a car, you don't have to be an automobile engineer, right? It's not that only automobile engineers can drive a car, become a car driver. You need to know the basics about driving and basics about the mechanics, when to change oil, when to, what is the fuel tank, when you should fuel, what must be tire pressure. If you know these basics, you are good enough. You need not have to be an automobile engineer or a scientist. I need to connect. Yeah. I'll just, I think I will have it. If you open this, I can connect it. Thanks. Like you take for calcium or any special vitamins, these are the very basic and fundamental things, we need to pay attention. Yeah. So the physical well-being, another my section is going to be about the detoxing, right? And see, like I said, the food we eat today, as we all know, it's not completely organic, right? They use a lot of pesticides, chemical fertilizers, a lot of adulteration, a lot of taste additives, a lot of colorings, a lot of things happen. So what technically happens is this is actually our digestive system, and this is how in a villi you could see a hair-like structure. That's where all this nutrition goes into. And if the food contains, the black dots are like the toxins. They are actually blocking the villi from absorbing the nutrition. Even though you are eating healthy food, the body is not able to fully benefit from it because the toxins are blocking it. So what you need to do, something like an aloe vera is a natural cleanser. And what Gandhiji has told about aloe vera is, you asked me what were the secret forces that sustained me during my long fast. Well, it was my unshakable faith in God, my simple and frugal lifestyle, and the aloe whose benefits I discovered upon my arrival in South Africa at the end of 19th century. Mahatma Gandhi took aloe vera every day as reported by his biographer Romain Rolland. So the aloe vera gives a lot of what it contains is basically there's something called lignin and saponin. The lignin is what is able to penetrate 3 layers into the body, and the saponin, the word comes from the word soap. In Italy it means soap. The saponin is what doing the cleansing. Okay, and we will see a quick. And besides it contains a lot of amino acids because amino acids are basically the building blocks of protein. And there are about 20 amino acids, 9 are primary and 11 are secondary amino acids. And aloe vera contains most part of these amino acids. Besides amino acids, there's something called choline. Egg is found to be the only food which contains choline. Egg, which helps in metabolism. And besides, other than in the plant world, it is actually aloe vera that contains choline, which helps in the metabolism, right? Yeah, so this is actually a short video.
இந்த வீடியோல நம்ம ஃபாரெவர் ஆலோவேரா ஜெல்லோட டெமோ தான் பார்க்க போறோங்க. இந்த பர்టిక్యులர் ப்ராடக்ட்ல 99.7% பியூர் ஆலோ கண்டென்ட் இருக்கு. இந்த ஆலோவேரா ஜெல் சாப்பிடுறது மூலமா நம்ம உடலுக்கு வந்து நிறைய நன்மைகள் கிடைக்குதுங்க. முக்கியமா பாத்தீங்கன்னா நம்ம குடலையும் கிட்னியும் வந்து அது நல்லா கிளென்ஸ் பண்ணி ஹீல் பண்ணி கொடுக்கும். இந்த பர்టిక్యులர் வீடியோல டெமோக்காக நான் அயோடின் எடுத்திருக்கேங்க. இது ஏன் எடுத்திருக்கேன்னு
So what I'll do is, so I'll mute it so that I can just give the voiceover in English. So basically, I'll just tell the summary of it. This person is taking tincture, which is like assimilating toxins in the water. She's putting tincture into the water as if she's putting some toxins into the water. Then she is actually trying to see, how it is if the normal water is able to fix that problem. So she is, pouring the different water. As if, she's actually trying to simulate this. You assume water in the container like a fresh or body. I think it's kind of a lag. Here it moves actually. See how let me refresh it and see if it works. It's some lag or something is there, And then what she does is, she inserts this, tingy, as if now there are toxins, right? It's actually a very interesting video. I wish you all could see this. So primarily, I'll just explain then, want of time. So basically, what she does is, she puts that tincture in the water. Now the water turns, now water becomes a chemical, as if our body is becoming a chemical. And then she has got a noodles there, right? She dips a noodle inside that. And then the noodles changes its color. Then she tries to wash it with water. It does not. Then she puts this aloe vera. It totally cleanses that. Or whatever chemical that was there in the noodles, spread around the noodles, it goes away to wash, totally gets washed. And then she tries to put the same, aloe vera dipped, noodle back in the iodine water. It doesn't, it gives like a kind of a capsulation or a protection. It doesn't get it. Then she pours the aloe vera back into the tinctured water. It totally turns white. That's what I wanted to show this video. So basically what it means is, aloe vera is like a soap solution. Think of it like a soap solution, right? It's like a plant-based soap solution. You have it in your stomach, then all the chemical-based, all the color, everything goes into it. All those colors and everything chemicals get absorbed by aloe vera. That's what happens. That's the beauty of it. So this is, aloe vera is very unique. Because when I remember I built my house in 2007 or sometime in Manapakam, right? Those areas we don't have the drainage system. So we have to actually, dig a pit and, put all the wastewater from the kitchen, bathroom, washing machine, everything into that. So one elderly person is a former background. That's a wisdom, right? Village wisdom, right? So what he told is grow some aloe vera and pass this wastewater through that, chemical water through that. So the aloe vera absorbs. He told long ago, almost after 10 years I bumped into this aloe vera, right? That became true. And aloe vera, so I don't know, this is like a wisdom, right? All the seniors or, he was, told this by his generation and he knew that knowledge. And now here we have we have found out that it's working. And that's what happens, right? Yeah. So, I think it's going back. So that's what does the aloe vera. So basically the cleansing happens in the body because we eat a lot of food. We don't have control over the food what we eat. End of the day or beginning of the day we can detox with this aloe vera. And this wellness industry is like I said we still need doctors as a safety net for the emergency and other reasons we need doctors. But still it's better to implement all these things. Better to implement all these things and give doctors a normal life because doctors are now actually too busy and stressful and so it's better we keep the doctors healthy while we also stay healthy, right? Yeah. So this is I do not know what's going to play. Let me try. This is an interesting video. I don't know why this buffering happens. I hope all of you are able to relate, right? The same person, someone who took care of his health and somebody who did not, and what happens as their last 10 years. Yeah. So quick recap is practice daily meditation and cleaning for our individual and global spiritual and social well-being. Give a gap of 6 seconds to 30 minutes before responding, reacting to incidents that make us get extremely happy or sad or angry to become more emotionally intelligent. So develop a sense of gratitude, optimism, and learn time management to reduce stress, depression, anxiety. And about water, always sit and drink water. What I did was wrong. Taste and water and drink. Don't gulp water. Drink 1 liter of water for every 22 kg of body weight. And avoid drinking water 30 minutes before food and after food. Drink water before going to bed. Because what happens is, we have 8 hours of sleep. And many times people get any heart attack at 3 o'clock in the morning because they have some minor blockage and the blood is without much water. The viscosity is so high, it goes and bumps, and it's one of the reasons, they get these heart attacks, right? So the blood needs to be diluted properly. For that, you need to drink enough water. And then advise to drink ionized, alkalized, antioxidant-rich water, microclustered water, at a TDS of 150 to 300 ppm. Then eat food when you're hungry, try to grow food. Eat food at least 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. Release, chew, and drink your food. Wash your vegetables and fruits in 11.5 pH alkaline microclustered water or a mix of turmeric and salt water. In fact, the device, it produces 11.5 pH water, which is ideal for washing your, because what happens is all these fruits and vegetables, the pesticides and chemical fertilizer sprayed while they are growing, so they are actually not in the surface. So we won't be able to remove the trace of pesticides just by washing with any turmeric or hot water or anything. With this 11.5 pH and the microclustered water from this device, it is able to pull out. We have seen those demos. Yeah. And drink aloe vera to remove toxins from food, air, water, as well as improve absorption and immunity. For that, aloe vera helps a lot. These are services we do. We teach heartfulness meditation, cleaning for no cost. Sound healing is done for individuals and groups. Water testing and Kangen water demo, that's what I showed you today. And we provide advisory and awareness on plant-based nutrition and aloe vera products for health, nutrition supplements, and personal and skin care, especially for the skin-related things, right? Today's, a lot of this branded, cosmetics, they're actually doing more harm than good. I can tell you one quick thing, right? For example, some brands which they put spray for perspirant, right? What happens is it contains aluminum salts. So a lot of breast cancer cases, when they open it and see, they found aluminum particles because they use aluminum microparticles to block the pores from sweating. Their goal is to prevent you from sweating. We use a product, we think I'm not sweating, the product is working. It's actually going into the body and potentially can cause skin cancer. Whereas some of these aloe vera based products, since they use the aloe vera naturally has this lignin and saponin, when you apply these aloe vera based authentic products, the lignin is taking the saponin inside, all the toxins are actually neutralized, so people continue to sweat. But the perspirant or the bad odor with the perspiration is stopped. That's how this healthy product works. Yeah. So our mission is to replace all these dialysis centers, diabetic clinics, cancer hospitals, dermatology clinics with holistic wellness experience centers and offer preventive health care. Have hospitals and doctors a safety net for this emergency and other whatever mistakes we do, handle them. You don't have to be a doctor to take care of your health. You need a doctor only when you lose health. Okay? So we invite social entrepreneurs, business partners to partner with us to set up holistic wellness experience centers in every pin code. That's the idea. So that's all. Thank you so much for patiently listening. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. These are few blogs I wrote. You can note it down and you can skim through. And you'll find a lot of information, a lot of testimonials that I shared. Feel free to write to me if you have any questions, or feel free to contact me by call or phone or a WhatsApp. Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. So if you have any questions.
What is the cost of this ionizer?
It cost about, there are 5 variants. The entry level cost 2.18 lakhs. And the 7 plates cost about 2.77 lakhs. Yeah. And what we normally say is for a 4-member family, per person per day, if you extrapolate the 20 years cost, it comes to only 9 rupees 63 pice. So compared to the health issues, the investment for this preventive health is way too low. Whether it is any preventive healthcare you invest, it will be way too low compared to the cost. Yeah.
And how is aloe vera used? How can it be made available?
See, aloe vera, what I found is there are about 400 types of aloe vera in the world. Only about 3 to 4 have medicinal properties. Lot of them have toxins and they are poisonous. So this company, Forever Living Products, it's a US based company. They are growing a specific variety called aloe vera barbadensis Miller. Barbadensis is the name of the botanical name and Miller is the person who invented or whatever in Africa. So this company is growing this Forever aloe vera barbadensis Miller in Texas and South America because see aloe vera, there are a lot of like you can easily grow tomato or a potato, etc. Aloe vera, what happens is, like I said, there are 400 varieties. You need to grow the right variety. Then you need to grow in a place which is free from toxins because it's going to absorb toxins. The idea here is you're going to use it to remove toxins, so you have to allow it to grow in a place without toxins, right? So they're growing in a place where all these harvesting vehicles are electric. So they have it like a flight free zone. That's a place they have it in Texas, South America. And then they have to allow it to grow up to 4 years. Then only it grows up to 42 inches, right? Only then it has enough nutrition. Then they harvest it because a lot of other places what happens is they don't have that space, etc. Whatever level height it grows, they put entire thing in a machine, crunch the aloe vera. I have tested a lot of the Indian made local aloe vera. None of them qualify. They actually will cause more problem. And all these tests and whatever I showed with the test, right? It won't pass through those kind of a test. Come again? No. See, one thing we need to understand with all these food is, you need to drink as much as possible in the natural form. So this company has taken extreme effort to make it without preservatives. They have a super advanced packaging by which they don't allow the oxidation to happen. And in the labeling itself, you will find no preservatives. Have you ever seen any packaged food in the world, with the honestly able to put no preservative? This company is able to put it because they have advanced way of packaging it. Yeah. So I urge all of you, you can contact me, I can advise you to connect you and you can drink that specific aloe vera. Yeah. Yeah, please, ma'am.
There is an aloe vera powder that is available in the market, Krishna sweets, powder form.
Okay.
For internal use. So what do you think of that?
See, like I said, try to drink in a natural form, close to the natural form as possible. Right? If somebody have got a serious issue, not able to drink it, then probably they can go for it. I really do not know about that particular product, but my suggestion is as much as possible, try to whatever, right? Because even there was in Instagram, there's a popular doctor called Sandy Jacob. I do not know any of you see that. He reviews various products. In fact, yesterday he did a review about milk bikis. And finally it says it's only 2% of milk or milk products. 98% is only sugar and lot of other unhealthy things, right? What he said about, juice versus fruit, right? So what is advised is try to eat the fruit naturally as possible. And sometimes even they say, I really do not know there is scientific. Try to eat the full fruit by yourself. Don't cut it, chop it and give it to 4 people because you really do not know where exactly the core nutrition is. So they're asking people to eat the entire fruit rather than, cutting and chopping and giving to multiple people and also making a juice out of it. Yeah.
That's because full of fiber.
Yes.
Whereas the juice is just the extract fiber is not.
Exactly.
Balanced.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. True.
We have to pay attention to what we eat.
Absolutely.
And what is in the market. Because if I go and look at the products and read what is there, I don't want to buy it.
Exactly.
I have fear.
Exactly.
But what I found is, in this world, there are still products which are reliable, healthy. If we don't encourage those products, chances are that they all will go out of market because they cannot actually, survive without the support from people like us. So that is why, I have taken it a kind of a mission to, communicate people, on the good versus bad. Yeah, thank you.
So this
Water.
water, the installation and periodic maintenance, all
Yeah.
that, how often does it?
See, primarily, especially with this device, what happens is you still need to do an RO if your water is above 500, right? So the RO takes care of the purification. Then you supply the 150 to 100 to 150 TDS water, clean water to this device. And this device does not have any moving parts. So any equipment, any appliance, only if there are a lot of moving parts, it's tend to, we have Mr. Ramkumar who is into maintenance, he knows, only if any appliance has got a lot of moving parts, it tend to have, breakdowns, etc. Here there is a motor, then there are 7 plates, titanium plates. See, the reason why the economics is so high is they are using the medical grade titanium. We all know, I think those of you who have gone for any dental fixture or any bone replacement, they will ask you what kind of a metal. Only if somebody is in 20 to 40, when they have a fracture, they will ask you to put a titanium. When somebody is about 50 or 60 or 80, they say you don't need because they may not last so long. Why do you want to put a titanium? So the medical grade titanium is very expensive. So Japanese, as you know, what happens is a lot of other appliances, what happens is they will make one version or a one thing for the US market, another one is for the Europe market, other one is for Asian. Asian also they have, Singapore, Japan is different, and India, Bangladesh, Pakistan is different. Whereas this company has got only one grade. Whether you are rich or poor, that's a grade they are actually providing, that appliance they are providing. So you get the best, product. So the maintenance is relatively, there's no maintenance. Only thing is all these plates actually accumulate some calcium. Right, because the water contains calcium. That we need to do there's a e-cleaning happens, automated cleaning happens, and the annual cleaning we have to do. There's a small process. It's almost like we can do at home, or we have some trained specialists doing that. So you do not have too much of breakdowns or a maintenance with this. Yeah, because there are not much moving parts. Yeah, there is no scope for, damage or, Electrolysis only happens. Electrolysis and electrical and the water's charge only gets changed.
There's one more class of water, Vedic water.
Okay.
Supplemented with some magnesium calcium. So, it's a big money-making.
Correct, yeah.
See, basically what I understand is water, what generally it's said is water has got a memory. Because we know water has got electric charge, water also got a memory, and some people say, water is able to, I think you would have seen some Japanese experiments where, they actually, do some good things about water, some pricing or a love and affection and a lot of positive vibrations, other set of waters, and they crystallize the water, and then they do it microscope. These water where the positive chanting or positive things are told, the water looks very symmetric, whereas the other ones told us they were actually, kind of drying up faster than the other plants. I think there are some experiments being done scientifically, right? So same thing happens to water also. So Vedic thing, my only observation is, I have not done any study around it. Only the positive chanting will have some, good effect. Okay. Got it.
Another problem that I see which people need to be educated, any product, including water, they put a manufacturing date and
Correct.
expiry date.
Correct.
Now both the manufacturing and the expiry refers to an unopened bottle shelf life. But you have to look at the manufacturing date. The older the manufacturing date, the moment you open the product, it will rot, depending upon the product, the storage conditions and all that.
Correct.
Now in water that you get, Vedic water, plastic water, kept in cafes, they don't serve water anywhere you go. The manufacturing date is 21. They're serving it now. And the Vedic water is 30 rupees in the market, in the cafe it is 40. So I bring it to the attention of the manager.
Okay.
And then they don't put a label, the water is chargeable. The moment you open, you have to pay.
Yes.
What is happening? The racket on water.
Exactly.
The politics of water.
Yeah. I think it's like, end of the day, it's a customer beware, right? Consumer beware. We need to be aware.
I think better to drink your own tap water. Boil it, add a pinch of turmeric, whatever, boil it, cool it, drink it.
Thank you, Mr. Raghunathan, for that extremely interesting and informative talk. You have given us a lot of food for thought. Thank you.